Video we are continuing our reading and review of the book, the JAMB book, the LEKKI HEADMASTER. Right? If you have been following from chapter 1 in our channel, we have done a lot of videos. We have done chapter 1, we have done chapter 2, we've done chapter 3 of this novel. We have done all the chapters. So this video you are watching is our review of chapter 4. We are going to read and review. I want you to watch from beginning to the end so that you understand what chapter 4 is talking about. Then you can now proceed to other chapters. Okay? Chapter 4 of the book, the LEKKI HEADMASTER. The title is A Case of Visa Denied. Let me bring you up to speed if you have not read chapter 1, 2, 3. In chapter 1, Mr. Bepo Ladele, the principal of Stardom School, a secondary school in Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria, was before his students and he began to cry. And the vice principal was asking him and all the rest. He refused to talk why he was sad, why he was crying. In chapter 2, we found out that it is because he was to relocate abroad. His two children and his wife are already in the UK. He was to join them, but he wasn't happy. Chapter 3 that we read the other time was about stories about what happens to Nigerians, Africans when they relocate from Nigeria, Africa to UK, United Kingdom to US to Canada, right? So chapter 4 is a case of visa denied. Let's go. In his room at N.H.S. Jones, Ikeja, Lagos. So where was he living? He was living in N.H.S. Jones, Ikeja, Lagos. Bepo was about to say his night prayer when the phone rang. He was undecided momentarily whether to answer or proceed with his prayer, so he was about to pray. He looked at the screen to see who was calling. Haba, he exclaimed, "Why will this woman be calling me so late?" It was Mrs. Ignatius, the parent of a student. Remember, Mr. Bepo is a principal in Stardom School in Lekki, Lagos. She was one of those whom Bepo believed was abusing the friendliness he permitted. Some and many indeed kept the relationship as official as possible. They limited discussions to matters pertaining to fees, books, discipline, punctuality, etc. But in Mrs. Ignatius' case, she overstretched the cordiality, discussing even her marital affairs with him. Bepo racked his brain, right, trying to recall how it all started. He wondered how he could have allowed such a personal dealings with a parent. How could she call me in the dead of night? He has come again, oh, Mrs. Ignatius cried. Who, madam? Bepo asked, anger bottled within. And before she could respond, he added, Madam, check your watch. 11:55 p.m. It was deep in the night. Is it not too late for this? I am sorry, principal, but did you know that Ibe is not yet home? Bepo launched a silence that he knew would not be palatable to her. For God's sake, is it a crime to be a principal? He asked as he momentarily pushed the phone away from the range of his voice, then shut his robust eyes as if the answer to the question lay in the dark. Banking on his 6-footer height and prominent eyeballs, he always jovially told the student that he was created to be a principal. According to him, once he was present in any class or hall, no act of cheating could go uncaught. Remember to watch this video from beginning to the end, because at the end of this video, I am going to share 3 things with you. Number 1, I am going to give you syllabus in your 4 JAMB subjects. Number 2, I am going to give you your past questions. I'm going to send it to you, past questions in your 4 JAMB subjects. Then I'm going to give you syllabus and past questions free of charge. Then at the end of this video, I'm going to also give you a copy of this book I'm reading from now, the LEKKI HEADMASTER. I'm going to share it with you too. That one will not be free. Okay, just watch from beginning to end so that at the end you will learn how you can get your own copy, right? Banking on his seat, okay, if you beat my height, you can't beat my eyes. He would declare whenever he was supervising any exam. So Mr. Bepo was a very tall person with huge eyes. The fact was that the man seemed to have every trait maximal, if not in N.H.S. His complexion, for instance, was as fair as that of a yellow ant that the Yoruba called Salomo. So he was very fair. I want you to be noting these things because these are the things that will come out. Why his was a voice that hardly needed a loudspeaker, no matter the size of the crowd he was addressing. Bepo yet had another tale that the student often branded Tori. When I was growing up in the village and my family was working on my father's farm, Salomo used to bite my brothers and sisters, especially when we were harvesting kola nut, whose trees one had to often climb. But Salomo never beats me because my skin bore the same color as theirs. Remember, Salomo is an ant. He was just telling the students. That was the extent to which Bepo could be down to earth in the school, though he combined humor and compassion with seriousness whenever required. When he, however, wanted was being taken, what he, however, hated was being taken for granted or overstretched, as he believed Mrs. Ignatius was now doing. He had told her that she needed to have a lot of patience to let the wound heal. She had wronged the man he believed. She had terribly wronged him, and the man had cause to be upset. As a matter of fact, he thought only very few men would still allow the marriage to hold in whatever form. I hope you are following. At the end of this video, remind me to share with you past questions if you need it. Remind me to share with you syllables if you need it. Remind me to share with you a copy of this book if you need it. A year earlier, the family has been planning to relocate to London, so everybody is trying to japa. Mr. Ibe was a manager in an oil firm, earning what a bloody teacher like Bepo would call an armed robber's salary. That means the salary was so big. But he became fed up with the system and bought into the japa philosophy, vowing he was ready to sacrifice all because of his children. Because of what? Mr. Ibe and his wife wanted to relocate because even though they were living big, he was earning a big salary. He wanted to relocate so that his children could have a better future, right? A year earlier, my children won't grow up here. They won't end up here, Mr. Ibe Ignatius had insisted. I want them to grow up in a sane environment. I don't want other children that are being trained outside the country now to return and lord things over my own children. Youths are leaders of tomorrow, not all youths. Many of the ones getting Western exposure will become the leaders. I work in an international organization, so I know what I am saying. Apart from the sentiment in favor of the children, the economic advantage which relocation promised made it an adventure more and more people are willing to explore. I mean, the financial benefit people get when they finally leave Africa, Nigeria to other countries. That is what is pushing people to even sell their properties, quit their jobs, close down their businesses, and move. And japa. It was all about dollars and pounds. All you needed to do was work in any place. For many people, just any place, earn the hard currency and be able to send home even 1,000 per month. Then your life will not remain the same. With a dollar exchanging for as much as 1,600 in the black market, it meant you were automatically saving 1.6 million naira per month. How many people in the country were able to do that? How many earned 1.6 million naira? Or half, or even a quarter? How many in a country where lawyers could earn as low as 15,000 naira monthly and some teachers were being paid the same or less as salary? I hope you are following. Mrs. Ignatius greatly loved the japa idea. Of course, women will like to travel. She had learned thoroughly and hairdressing, including the traditional Yoruba Irun Didi, having understood that the craft fetched a lot of money in the UK. From the information she gathered, you could earn up to $100 braiding for a client. That, changed to Nigerian currency, was some 160,000. Chai. For just crafting suku or any other Yoruba bread, that is hair making like kojusoko or onile gogoro. One suku tears the sky with is okay. When the visa processing, so they kept preparing. Okay. When the visa processing reached an advanced stage, a DNA test conducted on. Okay. The husband also had wound down his cradle and forwarding side business, preparatory to relocation, but something happened that scattered the plan. Remember the title of this chapter. Something happened that scattered the plan. When the visa processing reached an advanced stage, a DNA test conducted on their 3 children showed that N.H.S was not the father of one of the kids, Favor. And N.H.S, a 15-year-old SS2 girl in Stardom. The family never remained the same again. So they were planning to japa, they were planning to relocate, and they were now required to conduct a DNA test, only to find out that one of the children did not belong to the man. That is what scattered the whole plan. What is the matter now? Bepo asks, after his long silence, which the woman first felt lasted 100 years. He still doesn't believe I did not cheat on him. He is now saying Favor and I have to go. So the man asks, go where? He said we should go and stay with Favor's father. Has Favor learned of the entire saga? Does she know about the paternity crisis? I hope you are following. No, I don't think so, but there is a kind of suspicion on the part of Iyi, her brother. He has been asking some disturbing questions lately. He said there must be a reason, a key reason the embassy turned around and denied us the visa. I think he has read up why families may have visa issues. So, is he suspecting a DNA crisis? Honestly, I can't say, the woman said. There was a stretch of silence, then she added, Ibe left home 2 hours ago as we were discussing the matter. Principal, don't you think he might never come back? Bepo had no answer. He was equally set for his own relocation, believing he would soon have respite from the N.H.S saga. Experience taught Bepo several lessons about running an elite school like Stardom. He hoped some of these would be relevant in his next station. He knew culture and policies differ from one country to another, but no experience was a waste. Every parent wants respect, and many seek to keep their pride. Some are rich, considerate and humble. Some are rich, selfish and nasty. Why all these traits reflect in the behavior of the children, they kept the management on its toes as it pushed to achieve goals. Okay, Bepo reminisced on some of the major incidents that defined his stay at Stardom. He hoped that someday he would detail this in a book. He prayed his job in the UK would give him enough time on his professional biography. Among the memorable stories he would love to share was the sacking of Mr. Ayesoro, the government teacher. If you have watched to this point, just watch to the end as I share with you how you can get free past questions from me, free syllables from me, and a copy of this book, which is not free, right? At the GRA Lagos home, Mrs. Mary Ladele relaxed in a sofa watching a movie. It was a Nollywood stuff, the type she liked, a romance. That's a romance movie that Mrs. Mary Ladele was watching. Some 5 months ago, she had been a devotee of Z World, savoring Indian soaps that dripped with love. You know, women like Z World. It was around 1 p.m. Her 3 children had all gone to bed. She was the only person in the sitting room. Her husband, Dele, was away in Abuja, where he worked as a senior civil servant. The kids could turn naughty and cook up excuses to hang around the medium-sized plasma TV, but she had mandated them to always go to bed at 10 p.m. The youngest, Bibi, was particularly notorious for wanting to flam the other, especially when her father was around. Remember, I shared with you that as we read this novel together, and even when you read it on your own, remember to note any word you do not understand. Don't jump words. If there's any strange word you encounter, kindly write it down, then just visit a dictionary. Get a physical copy of a dictionary, or you might have a dictionary in your phone, or you can just ask Google the meaning of the word. So any word you see, try to find the meaning, right? Very important. Okay. This is very important. In this movie, a female physician, the Nigerian movie that Mrs. Ladele was watching, Dr. Ajayi was about to conduct a cesarean section on Bimbo, a bosom friend of hers. It was a task. This is what was happening in the movie. It was a task the doctor was quite happy to undertake, aided by 3 other colleagues. 2 of these were invited from a general hospital nearby because of the expertise. Like this word expertise, if you don't know the meaning, just take some time, pause this video, watch it, and find the meaning, or write it down. Later you find out the meaning. The third worked at Legacy Memorial Hospital, a private establishment. Many people had reservation about government hospitals. They dreaded them because of the large crowd they attracted, which usually left doctors overwhelmed. They were also often bogged down by inefficiency and corruption. Nevertheless, government hospitals were still famed for having some of the best consultants in the country. Therefore, regarding CS matters, many parents prefer taking the operation in public hospitals, and when they had to go in a private establishment, they hoped or they opted for doctors from public hospitals on the team. It was this synthetic arrangement Dr. Ajayi had with Bimbo for Mrs. Ladele, who had the CS experience. Watching the scene in the movie was an engaging threat. It was also good that the filmmakers choose to show the operation live. But what made the scene most captivating for Mrs. Ladele was an imminent bubble burst. Unknown to Dr. Ajayi, her husband was responsible for Bimbo's pregnancy. As the truth was about to hit the doctor, Mrs. Ladele entered and caring little about her foreign wrapper inched closer to the TV set to see how the painful truth would unfold. Just then she heard a scream. It was Bibi. Bibi was her last child. She rushed into the room and found the girl trembling, seated in the edge of the bed. Mommy, Bibi cried as she saw her mother. Her brothers and sisters, Tim and Love, had also been rudely awakened from sleep, looking bewildered. Bibi, what is the matter? The mother asked as she carried the girl and cradled on her arm. It is Mr. Walla. Mr. What? Who is Mr. Walla? Our government teacher. He appeared to me in my dream with his tribal marks. Okay. Bibi actually meant Mr. Ayesoro. Popular in the school for the deep tribal marks he flaunted. So prominent was the incision that the student nicknamed him Mr. Owala, a derogatory Yoruba appellation for a person with wide facial mark. Remember, this novel is set in Lagos, and Lagos, Lekki, is a Yoruba terrain, right? Every time Bibi saw Ayesoro in school, she became scared. They met at the basketball court the previous week when Blue House, to which she belonged, held its medium practice ahead of the upcoming inter-house sports competition. Bibi screamed with fright as Ayesoro, who was one of the Blue House officers, arrived at the venue. Every effort by Mr. Ayesoro to array the girl's fear was unsuccessful. After I read for a few seconds, I will share with you how you can get the book. Eventually, Bibi had to be reassigned to greenhouse where Tim belonged. None of the ladies slept that night. Twice, Bibi's mom tried to pet the girl into sleeping. Twice, the girl dreamt, crying out about Mr. Walla. Mrs. Ladele could hardly wait for daybreak to launch a complaint at Stadium. Worried that it could lose Bibi and her sibling to another private school, the management transferred Mr. N.H.S to Stardom Hub, the property wing of Stardom Group of Companies. Now, what you will do before you watch the next video is, if you want to get the free PDF, if you want to get the free past question, and if you want to get this book, Lekki Headmaster from me, although it's not free, is just like this video, then subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not subscribed. Just click on subscribe to YouTube channel of Noble Tutorial, then comment under this video that I have subscribed. When you like this video, share this video too, subscribe to our YouTube channel Noble Tutorials. Just come under this video and type I have subscribed. Once I hear you say I have subscribed, I will send those materials to you. Watch the next video, chapter 5.